Hi everyone, thanks for joining me for today's video. My name is David. This channel is Damar's Coaching. In today's video, I'm just going to go over kind of what typically happens after a narcissistic, abusive, traumatic relationship. What happens to both people, the narcissist and, I hate to say victim, I don't know a better word. They victimize people. We've been victimized. We're no longer victims once it stopped, but I hate to deny that too, right? I don't want to blame victims and I don't want to demean it, lower it, deny it. Victims. So what kind of happens to both of them? Generally. Hopefully. And this is if you guys heal. This is what happens, okay? And I know that this thing, the brain, says, no, it's not, David. It's going to say this. It's going to fight me, say, no, he's not right, he's not right. And your brain doesn't know, does it? Okay? I do. I've been through this most of my life, myself. Been over a decade since I've been in any kind of abusive relationship. And I've healed. And I have good, nice relationships now with good, healthy people. And that's what we want for all of you, right? So, we have a toxic person. I said narcissist. Let's say possibly cluster B personality disorder, but most of all manipulative and abusive. They didn't give me what I needed emotionally. They maybe took advantage of you and exploited you, cheated on you, lied to you, all that stuff, okay? These relationships typically are traumatic, emotionally traumatic to the victim. And both of us, all of us, came from some type of neglect or abuse in our family growing up, okay? That's just my opinion. I know that maybe not all of you agree with that. I'm just telling you what I see for 8 years and myself. The toxic person, the manipulative person, they tend to go right to another person right away, right? And that's who I'm going to talk about. Yes, they may take a while to do that. They might isolate a little bit themselves, but they're just going to move on to the next person. People with personality disorders tend to not look at themselves, tend to not change. They're rigid, a pervasive pattern. It goes on for the rest of their lives. Tends to, okay? I don't need people with borderline to tell me, no, that's not true, David. I'm better. I can get better. It's possible. I get that. I'm just saying to you what typically happens. This is typical, very typical. That someone who's abusive typically has a personality disorder in the cluster B. Somebody who has a personality in the cluster B typically doesn't change too much and shows a pervasive pattern of this throughout their life. Now, the victim. Someone who does not have a personality disorder, and that's who I'm talking about. Because people with PDs will date other people with PDs, and then they'll date a victim that doesn't have one and traumatize them, and go back and date another one with a PD. That's like extremely common. It's amazing. So if you, as a victim, do not have a personality disorder, that's who I'm talking about. And I know that you might be doubting yourself, the number one symptom, and you might say, do I have a personality? I might have a personality disorder. Do you have a pervasive pattern of these things all the time, or is this just this time? Maybe you had one other bad relationship. Get help if you're not sure. So, the toxic person tends to go right to someone else. They don't have, neither of you tend to have closure. The toxic person won't heal. They might carry lots of shame and believe what they did was wrong, know that the community, society says it's wrong. The law might says it's wrong. They might have some shame, more shame piled on their shame, because people that hurt others have shame. They hurt inside, it's shame. And they might carry more shame from this relationship by doing wrong, bad things. Now, a psychopath doesn't really have much of a conscience. Sociopaths, a lot of narcissists don't believe what they did was wrong. So they might not believe that they did was wrong. They might be able to lie to themselves and things like this. But what matters is they don't feel good. And they didn't have any resolution, no conclusion, no closure, no healing. And they need to too. We tend to be traumatized. Anxiety, depression, self-doubt, all kinds of self-doubt. Is it me? Is it me? Is there something wrong with me? Do I have a personality disorder? Was I manipulative? Did I make them do that? Can I ever have a good relationship again? Can I ever meet someone healthy again? Someone like that? Can I ever be loved? All this self-doubt. And there's just a massive amount of different things that happen. But we're traumatized and we tend to isolate. We tend to isolate. And after some point of isolation and not trusting other people, we get help. We get help. The person that doesn't get help, I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen to them. I'm not going to say that they will never have a healthy relationship and they'll always keep doing this, but probably. Probably. There's more to life than not getting abused. We need to have successful relationships where at least 10 emotional needs are being met, where there's meaning and purpose and emotional connection and security and things like this, so we grow together. When we get help, hopefully the right help, we learn about our experience and understand it, and we're not obsessed with it and don't have to watch tons of videos anymore, and we don't have to think about it all the time alone, and we feel better about it. And this makes us not think about it much, and there's not bad emotions tied to it. That's how we know we're healed from it. And then we have better relationships. We have a chance to have relationships where our needs are met. Yeah? The narcissist, the borderline, sociopath, histrionic, psychopath, who I'm mostly really talking about. It's a pattern of this over and over and over again. And they might enter new relationships with either fear of it happening again, or they're the total con artist. I'm just going to lie and pretend, get what I want from them, and leave again. Yeah. But I'm going to tell you, these people are fucked. They're screwed. It doesn't matter how many more people they move on to. It doesn't matter who the person is. It doesn't matter. It's dysfunction after dysfunction. It doesn't matter if they're using them, then there's no emotional connection, then they'll feel guilty, maybe they'll feel shame. And all they're going to get is like physical things, sex and attention and money. That is not, and if you guys don't know this already, I'm sorry, but that is not what life is for. That can't be why we're here. To stay alive and just make our physical bodies feel good, to look good. I mean, come on. At least have relationships with people and grow and find out who we are more and more and more with other people. Feeling comfortable in these relationships and developing and learning who we are and growing as a person. They don't do that. And each relationship, and you guys know this because I'm sure this isn't the only one that you've had with no meaning and no purpose and no closure. These meaningless relationships take a part of you, of yourself. Each one. It does. And it does with these toxic people. Whatever fragmented parts of themselves that they even are aware of, they lose these parts in every relationship that fails, that's traumatic, that they abuse people. Doesn't matter if they lie. They have to still live with the reality. They're screwed. But you have a chance. And definitely with help, and absolutely 100% with the right help. 100%. Everybody can heal from this. Everybody can heal from emotional pain and trauma. Every time they go from one person to the next, this is how people feel empty inside. Feeling empty inside is actually a borderline personality disorder diagnostic trait. And as we know, personality disorders traits overlap. Same with narcissists. Same with sociopaths that just go from person to person to person. Using them, abusing them, exploiting them, ending it, no closure, lying to themselves, right on to the next person. Gone. Our self is just gone. They feel more and more empty inside. The emotional borderline is traumatized by every relationship. It doesn't matter that they just go on to somebody else. They go on to a fucking stranger. And they may remain a stranger their whole relationship because they never really get to know them. Something I've learned is people that don't know who they are don't give a shit who you are. And all the things they accused you of, if they believe it, they don't know you, do they? Still, after 5 years, they don't know who you are. Never developing, never growing, never learning, never changing. Nothing. You can be assured, you can really be assured that every relationship will be just like the one that you had. And on Facebook, it'll look great. And other people will see them together. And after 5 years together, you'll be like, oh my God, they've been together for 5 years. And if they get married, oh my God, they got married. And if they have children, oh my God, they have children. Oh my God. It's still the same way that you have. If they have a personality disorder, that's for sure. How do you change manipulating people, exploiting people, and objectifying people? I'd love to know that. Never heard of it. How? Especially as your brain stops growing and you've fully developed your personality and your brain helps you get better and better at what you do. And they've been doing this to you for years and probably did it to people before you, and they're going to do it to someone after you. And that doesn't change. No. They're completely fucked. But you're not. Only this thing is saying so. And if you don't get help, you might be. But I can guarantee you guys, if you get the help you need, you'll have 100% success in other relationships. Success, meaning feeling good, bonding, healthy bonds and attachments, emotional connection, really offering each other security, autonomy, being able to be successful in other areas of your life because of this emotional support. Yeah. Instead of people sabotaging you. I wanted to be just general. I hope this gives you some hope. I wouldn't lie to you guys. Everybody's capable of healing from this stuff. And even toxic people, they can heal from the stuff that caused this in their childhood. Doesn't mean that necessarily that their personality disorder or mental illness will go into remission. It'll help. But they can heal from emotional trauma just like we can. Okay? So get the help that you need, the right help. Okay? You're worth it. Thank you. Please, everyone, add as much as you can to this. All your own experiences, what you think, what happens and stuff like this. Agree with me, disagree with me, ask me questions, okay? But you better love yourself first. Thanks, guys. Bye.